In the winter of 1346, the Black Death, a plague so deadly it would claim millions of lives across the globe, was unleashed upon Europe. But its path was set into motion not by nature, but by the Mongol army's terrifying strategy during the Siege of Caffa. One of the most brutal military campaigns in history unfolded on the shores of the Black Sea. But it's not just the speed and power of Genghis Khan's Mongol army that made this siege so infamous. It was the terrifying and grotesque tactic they used to spread death beyond the city walls, turning the Siege of Caffa into a horrifying chapter of biological warfare. At the time, Caffa was a thriving center for Genoese merchants. The Mongols, already wreaking havoc on the surrounding regions, surrounded the city, hoping to break its defenses. But what followed next was anything but conventional warfare. Desperate to break the stalemate, and with the city's defenses holding firm, the Mongols resorted to a horrific method to force the Genoese defenders to surrender. In an act of gruesome ingenuity, the Mongols began catapulting the bodies of their plague victims over the city walls. Infected corpses, still oozing with the deadly bacteria, flew through the air and landed inside the city, spreading the disease among the residents. It was an early example of what we might now call biological warfare. At first, the defenders were simply stunned. Then panic set in. The very thing they had feared, the plague, was now among them. What had once been a siege for military control quickly became a race for survival against an invisible enemy. People began to die in droves, and the city's fortifications, once thought impenetrable, began to crumble under the weight. The plague spread like wildfire. Within weeks, Caffa's defenders began to abandon the city. But the horror didn't stop there. As Genoese merchants fled the city, they carried the Black Death with them, unintentionally spreading it across the Mediterranean and into Europe. It's believed that the disease was responsible for the death of a third of Europe's population in just a few years, and some historians argue that the Mongol catapulting of corpses played a key role in the pandemic's rapid spread. While the details of the Siege of Caffa are shrouded in myth and uncertainty, one thing is clear: Genghis Khan's legacy of brutal warfare lived on in his descendants. The use of disease as a weapon, launching dead bodies over walls like living artillery, was a horrific tactic that not only marked the Mongols as ruthless conquerors, but also left an indelible mark on history. This gruesome chapter in history serves as a reminder of the lengths to which people will go in times of desperation, and how war can push the boundaries of human cruelty. While we may think of biological warfare as a modern concept, the Mongols were ahead of their time in using disease as an instrument of war. And the Siege of Caffa remains one of the most chilling examples of how humanity can weaponize death itself. Well, now that's interesting.